Hey guys, welcome to JP Basson 301. Get asked a lot my setup for skipping docks on Deep Creek, so I thought I'd make a quick little video while I'm out here in the boat garage, in the boat barn, putting things together. As everybody knows, this is going to be a very low-tech channel, just straight to the point, hardcore hogging bass, what works for us. Well guys, we'll start with the rod and the reel. Favorite reel I like is the Abu Garcia Revo Rocket. It's one of the fastest, if not the fastest spinning reel made. I like it so I can put it under docks, work a little bit, get it back out of there. If you guys haven't tried these out, I highly recommend them. Next, going to line, a lot of times I use what's on sale, but some of my favorites, Power Pro Super Slick V2. I like 15 to 20 pound test. The line I've been using a lot lately is the Suffix 832 on a 20 pound test. And I like a high vis braid so I can see it up under them docks. A lot of times it's a visual strike. You'll see that line jump. As far as leader material, use Cigar 15 pound. Highly recommend 15 pound. You go with anything much less than that, you're going to get broke off up underneath those docks, up under the props, around the pipes and poles for the docks. Now for the good stuff. This is probably one of the most asked questions that I get a lot, is what knot do I tie from my leader to my braid? What I use is a modified Alberto knot. I'm going to try to show you guys how I tie this if I don't fall out of the boat. Okay, first thing you want to do is take your leader line, fold it over in half, just make a U, about 6 or 8 inch tag line there. Take your braid, you want to go up through when you start, up through that loop. You see that? Sorry about my hands, I've been working on the boat motor. Go up through the loop, and you're going to wrap that. I go 10 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the next thing you're going to do is go down through that loop. Wet that just a little bit. You're going to help that knot up where they all lay. Take your main braid line, pull that tight. Okay, take this tag. What I do from there, I do 3 half hitches. This just helps secure the knot. 1, well, if I can get it, 2, 3. Pull that down. Now, here's a little trick. When you trim that tag, you don't want to trim your braid tag super tight. Leave that about a 1/4 inch long. I don't know where that camera thing, how it works. But see that? How that's about a 1/4 inch long? Kind of fray that a little bit with fingernails. What that'll do is create a strike indicator. When it goes under, it'll go right through your guides. But it just helps make that where you can see that a little better. Okay, your main line, or your leader line, you want to trim that just as tight as you can. You need the biggest pair of scissors you can find. Don't tell your wife that you got them. Okay, do that, give her a little test. And then how I like to do it is I reel my knot up so it's up here till the knot, this knot is up to the end of my rod. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Well, maybe you guys think Bill Dance has some bloopers, wait till you start watching my videos. Okay, the knot is up to my top eye, and I usually bring my tag end down to about my reel, which gives me about 6-foot leader. Okay, next question I get a lot. What kind of hook do I like? I have played and played and played with a bunch. I like the Eagle Call Trocar 1/0 worm hook. I don't have any of those left, I believe. If I'm going to use a weed guard, if I get into something thick or there's a lot of ropes on the docks or anything like that, this is the best hook I've found in a while. Super high hookup ratio, and I don't have a lot of problems with my leader line getting up under that weed guard costing me hook sets. Either the Gamakatsu Wicked Wacky and a 2/0. Those are my favorite with a weed guard. I do not like the BMCs. Problem I have with the BMCs a lot is the line gets up under these weed guards, and it seems like a lot of fish I lose or miss. That's a common denominator, is that line's wrapped around under that weed guard. One of my favorites I've been using lately, they're a little pricey, is the Hayabusa hook. These are made, I believe they're an owner company, but this says Hayabusa on here, the FPP straight 2/0. Those things are crazy good. What I do is this little keeper, if you can see that right there, I cut that off. And that's what I'm gonna do now. I'll just take a utility knife, I'll just peel that off there. I'll show you why here in a minute. Yep, just clean that hook up, okay? Other than that, a little more economical, and I like them very, very well. The Gamakatsu worm hook, the round bend straight shank worm hook, and a 2/0. That's probably my overall favorite hook. They're a lot cheaper than these Hayabusas, and they're a lot easier to find. So I'm gonna take that Hayabusa hook, and I'm gonna attach it to my 15-pound fluorocarbon leader with a simple Palomar knot. And those are basically the 2 knots that I use 90% of the time, other than a loop knot for my walking baits. Now, this is another little trick I've been showed. See how that line kinks up when you tie that Palomar knot? What I like to do is I'll hold that. If you hold a lot of tension and pull on that, you'll feel that getting warm, getting hot, that line. And then just kind of hold it for a second. You don't want to weaken that line. But see that? See how it straightened that line out? Took a lot of them kinks out. I call it ironing the line. I'll trim that tag about a 1/4 inch or so, as you can see there. That's my hook. That's what I love. Next, worms. I am a Yamamoto guy. I love the original Senko. I've used everything that's out there. I've got tons of worms hanging back there. I do not like Yum Dingers. The only other couple worms I like other than original Senko is the Bass Pro Shop Sticko worm. Isn't too bad. It has a nice wiggle to it. And then the Dudley Wacky from Perfection Lures or whatever. It's a good lure. Expensive, hard to find. You can get original Senkos at Walmart, $5 a pack. Don't short yourself. I put them in the swimming pool, everything else. I went throw a Yum Dinger in the trash can. As far as collars, let's touch on collars real quick. I like to keep it simple. I'll use, this is a 297 Green Pumpkin Black Flake. This is a very good color. It's been doing good for me lately. It's called Smoke with Black Purple. It is 157 is the collar number. It's a kind of a purple with a black flake, but if you hold it up to a light, see how that kind of changes? It gets more of a shad looking gray, silvery collar. That's why I like Senkos. Watch this thing change. This is a big tip. Take that Senko, stretch it a little bit, work it. Start breaking that salt down. Trust me, you'll get way more bites. See how that changed? Look at the look on that quick. Okay. Next thing with my worms. Well, let's get back to collar before I jump ahead. Most 90% of the time, green pumpkin is all you need. Other than that, I'll mix it up sometimes if the water's a little clear or stained, or if I have somebody else in the boat just throwing a green pumpkin, I don't see the point in throwing the exact same thing right behind them. I'll mix my collars up a little bit. The smoked purple flake has been doing real good. I don't know if it imitates bluegill real well, but they like it. If I get into muddy, stained, turbid water with the rain that we just had today and stuff, I'll go to a black blue. Just black with blue flake on there. June bug works real well. And then something that's worked real well for us is the green pumpkin with this chartreuse tail. Seems like it's something they can key in on and trigger. Other than that, if you get an ultra clear water, I like a baby bass collar or something shad collar. This is a fat Senko, but it was doing really well for me. It's called Sexy Shad, but it's just a clear collar for really clear water. Okay, next, and probably one of the best and biggest tips I can give you, you look at this bag of worms. See how you see some moisture or whatever in there? People think water's getting in there. Right there, I soak my baits in scent. It's whatever you prefer, whatever you like. I've played around with the bait fuels. Proline's one of my favorites on there. Proline scents, you can get them online. You can get them at Bass Pro. Yeah, tell Randy that I sent you. Use code JPBass301 and you can get 10% off with Proline scents online. And I've actually used just a good old Walmart Bang. I do believe that scent, when them bass nose up on that worm and they're sitting there, this thing's coming down, they nose up. I think between the secondary action of that worm wiggling and that scent, that's something that most people don't use scent. Everybody I talk to, nobody uses scent. It can trigger that strike. I don't see where it would cost you any fish versus what it would catch you. Next on there, we got the hook, we got the worm. VMC crossover band tool. Love these things. For a regular Senko, I use the 6mm bands. You see them, if you can see that there. Okay, so you're going to take this band, put it on this needle nose. You're going to stretch that out. And then drop that worm down inside of there. Well, if I can do it while I'm doing it on camera. You guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. All right, then you're going to pull that up roughly to about the egg sac right there, roughly the middle of the bait. And then you just slide that off of the tool. Now, this little ring, this band has a little nipple here on it that has holes that go through both ways. I like to put my hook in so it's perpendicular to the worm. If you're doing an eco rig, you can go in where it's straight with the worm, parallel to it. I like it crossways. Super high hookup ratio, and it's going to save you a lot of worms on there. This is the most effective thing, way better than the O-ring tool. Now, if I was to be fishing a tournament, I may not use the band and I might go just straight through the worm because I would want that worm to rip and all I got in that fish's mouth is the hook. But other than that, I very rarely, I mean, they swallow it usually pretty good. And if you got a good quality hook, I don't lose a whole lot of fish on it. But yeah, that's my setup. And anybody that's been watching my Facebook channel or anything, last couple weeks we've got some over 7 pounds. And you get one 5, 6, 7 pounds up under a pontoon or a boat dock with this, you need a stout setup. I used Dobbin's Fury series. This is a FR703 SF. Yeah, it's a medium fast action, but it's on the heavier stiff end, and I'll tell you, it's quickly became my go-to favorite rod. It's a little shorter, but that helps me with my accuracy when I'm in close to those docks. But guys, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, see the links below, PM me, whatever. Check me out on Facebook. shoot me any questions that you may have on there. But that's what I'm using on Deep Creek most of the time if I'm skipping docks with a Senko. And that's one of my most asked questions on my guide trips and stuff. Anybody be interested in a guide trip, look me up at JP Basson 301 on Facebook and shoot me a message, and we'll get out there after them. You guys have a good day, and God bless.